Welcome to Bingo Topics, where we're going to talk about a couple of things surrounding the Eagles and look at an interesting question a little bit later. Injuries, roster additions. We're going to cover it all today. What's up, it's your boy Cintron coming back at you with another analysis video, and I kid you not, that's my real name. And today, first off, top of the morning, or afternoon, whatever for you, but top of the spear, we're going to head things off with punter situation. So it has drastically changed, and you can see that this might be green, but it's not Philadelphia green. Eagles released Aaron Sipos, assigned new punter to the practice squad. So we are going to go with the plan of the punter rotation, at least for the meanwhile. And Aaron Sipos, who was ranked very low, his faults in the Vikings game, a couple punts under 45 yards, didn't go unnoticed. And we're just going to wrap it up right now. He's been decent to good in the regular season. Playoffs has been a disaster. The past 2 years in the Bucs game, bomb. And we saw in the Super Bowl what he did, a line drive to Kadarius Toney, which just cannot be forgiven. But we're going to sign the guy. He tried him out a couple, I think last week. He was amongst a couple of punters we brought in. Braden Mann, who was formerly of the Jets, a 6th-round pick, and he was battling with the Steelers, the third kid, Hayward the third. It was a very prestigious sounding name, but that guy's a monster. I wish we could have drafted him, which is interesting. We need to put more premium on acquiring some guys, even if on the low tier, 6th or 7th round pick. Just go out there and allocate some resources. Anyways, we'll see what he has to bring over the next maybe couple of weeks. We have 3 times to bring him up before we have to leave him on the active roster or cut him, put him back down to the practice squad, but without being able to elevate him again. So we're getting rid of Sipos. No point in keeping 2 punters out. It would be a waste of a space. And we're going to see what Mr. Man has to bring to the table. Not a surprising development when they kept a punter on the practice squad instead of the active roster like we did last year. It was a sign of things to come, where we might be rotating. He's in here for 3 weeks, and then another guy, you try him out. So until we hopefully settle on somebody, I hope you're not just gonna rotate this in throughout the whole season. It has to end at some point, right? And there are some guys that went on injured reserve, and we're gonna. I don't know what we're gonna do with the next guy coming up. We will see, but it creates a big hole. Unless you're living under a rock, you know that Avonte Maddox went out with an injury against the Vikings. One of our cornerstone guys, but we've been relying on him too much because he's shown that he can't stay healthy, and we need someone at that nickel position to man that position. I mean, it's a key position in the modern day NFL. It pretty much might as well be a starter. That's why some teams count it as a starter, because they play in that formation, I don't know, seven times out of 10, or the majority of the time, instead of having a third linebacker. The third linebacker position is going the way of the dinosaur. You have a Mike and a Will, but Sam, or Will is going out. Sam, maybe you have him, but one of those is interchangeable. But you need a Mike. You need a linebacker on the field for that size and other attributes. But yeah, it's morphed a lot since I've been following the game since about 2001. No longer are the 260-pound monsters patrolling the middle of the field anymore, or the sides. But this guy here, yeah, man, I just wish he didn't have such a frail body. I don't know, it's like I remember the Chargers corner. He had all the talent in the world, but just couldn't stay healthy. He went to the 49ers, and he couldn't stay healthy either. But such a talented guy, forgetting his name. But yeah, it's believed to be a torn pectoral muscle, which wouldn't rule him out with for a return on, like, I would say, the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship game. But that's a far ways away, and he's a recovering player coming back. How much can you really count on him? Because he played in the Super Bowl, but then after that, he was on the he was injured in a walking boot after the Super Bowl. So you don't want to rely on a guy like that. You just want to bring somebody in. And after this season, I think we might just walk away from him. I forget whether he has another year left on the deal or if this is his last year, but he just can't be relied on. And it's just sad because he's a phenomenal player when he's on the field, being able to, play in the slot and cover guys on the outside as well. But we need him to stay healthy. So let's look at some what Nick is saying about the position. Nick Sirianni says he likes the Eagles' in-house options to fill Avonte Maddox's role in the slot. So for us, this could, be James Bradbury moonlighting in the slot, because we did bring out Josh Jobe to start in lieu of Bradbury, who was out with a concussion. He couldn't clear the protocol within a couple of days in the quick turnaround from the Sunday game to the Thursday night game. But most likely he'll be given a clean bill of health going into the Tampa Bay game on Monday night for you, Tuesday morning for me. But yeah, Bradbury in the slot, it's not that I don't mind it, and it would actually help with Josh Jobe being able to acclimate more to the outside and get more live game reps, which he sort of needs to keep progressing as a player. But I don't know if Bradbury can be the best there because he's relatively new to that position. I think this last offseason was the first time for him to take relative number of snaps inside in a practice role, not in live game action. So I don't question it, but I cast a little bit of doubt on it. But Mario Goodrich, he's our rookie, but he was the backup to the backup. We originally had Avonte Maddox, who's now out, and then behind him there was guy, I can't remember his name, but he was scheduled to be our backup, and then he got hurt. So Mario Goodrich is a rookie covering for this guy, a rookie or a guy who's in the first year off of a practice squad playing. But not to say he's bad. I think he's probably better than Josiah Scott, man. Almost anybody's better than that guy. But that being said, Nick's just being a coach that he believes in his players 100%. He will never cast somebody out, and make them a social pariah and berate them in front of the national news media. He's going to keep everything in-house, even if that's not what he believes. He's going to come out and say the opposite. Shouts out, to him for protecting his players. But, of course, we know that, it's not about what you say, but what you do, the actions. Because you best believe Howie Roseman is not paying heed to what Nick is saying. He's outsourcing. He's doing his due diligence. He's researching. He's combing the wire waiver with a fine comb tooth, trying to see who we can slot in. So we're going to take a look at some guys who are on the free market, on the open market, who could potentially fill that space for us here at slot corner. And it also might be guys that have experience outside as well, which would help. I would love a guy who have size that can actually play in the slot as well. So here we have Cameron Dantzler. He was cut by the Lions, I believe. Because then they bring him in and they cut him, and I think maybe he signed with Houston. But he's young, so for me the question is why? Why? Because you're on the free market for a reason. Age, personal issues, fit, scheme with the teams that are looking for you, or salary demands. Could be a number of reasons, but for me, I don't know why he's on the market, because he's a talented guy, but I think he's an outside corner. I don't think he's an inside corner. Anthony Brown, who used to play with the Dallas Cowboys, I think he played with Pitt. He's a replacement level guy, so for me, not good enough. He would be maybe a smidge bit better than the guy we have now in Goodrich, but he wouldn't be an upgrade. Casey Hayward, this is an interesting option because he has outside experience, but he also can play in the slot as well. So if he has anything left, that's my thing with him. He would be worth bringing in. But at 33 and with he might be a 10-year veteran, what truly does he have left in the gas tank? So I don't know that, and him being on the market now doesn't bode real well for his resume. I mean his ability. All right, Bryce Callahan. I don't know too much about him, but I think he's strictly an outside corner. Greedy Williams, a name that we know, just a shame. He was just a disaster in training camp, and that was outside. And yeah, I don't think he can play inside. And we didn't see anything in him then. We haven't brought him back. We're not even sniffing around. I think unless things got tragic, we wouldn't bring him back, and then it would be a demerit. Here's where it gets interesting with a couple names. Actually, I don't know much about these guys. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's interesting. But the fact that they're all young and they're all, well, yeah, wow, all these are the NFC North, and these teams are looking for talent. That just doesn't speak well. Division opponents are often liable to pick up one of these guys. So the fact that they haven't, and Green Bay hasn't either, it's kind of a demerit. Grant Haley, I feel like I've heard the name, but like I said, he's on the open market and he's young, so why isn't he with the team? Probably not good enough, to be honest. So William Jackson, he can play a little bit in the slot, but he's an older guy. What does he have at this stage? And he should be on the roster. Terrence Mitchell, long in the tooth, and I think they cast him out there in San Fran. Yeah, it just says that he's not good enough. He didn't make the roster. Bradley Roby, this is a name that for me is very interesting, because he has that outside versatility, but he's also a bigger guy. I think he's like maybe 6 foot, or $195, 200 pounds. So a bigger guy who has quickness and speed, but I know New Orleans did cut him the last team with to have him with him. So is he done? That's my whole thing. What can he bring to a team at this stage in his career? Because I think he's also maybe a 10 or maybe even 11-year veteran out of, I think, Ohio State. So kick the tires on him, test the waters. If he's good to go, bring him in. Xavier Rhodes, yeah, he's a big corner and he's old, so nah. This is also interesting. Another New Orleans corner. I mean, they both cut him, so it might be the damning indictment there. But Chris Harris, man, a long tenured veteran. I think he's like a 13-year veteran in the league, and he's one of the more accomplished guys, if not behind Xavier Rhodes. The inside outside, definitely the most accomplished guy on this list, playing inside outside, and like he stellar for several years there in Denver, and highly respected guy. But he's 34. He did play 10 games last year with the New Orleans Saints. But yeah, like a lot of these guys, almost everybody, what do they bring to the table at this stage in their career? So he can give you some quality snaps, but I wouldn't want to maybe switch him out with Goodrich. Maybe let him start and then let Goodrich get a minor share of the carries, but share of the snaps. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, man. Like the guy I love, Crayvon LeBlanc, isn't on this list because he's been in the NFL too long for them to even consider him. But these are the names, man. We're gonna get to our last thing here. Our one question. So coming out of the game, the first game of the year, we struggled, I would say, pretty good on offense, confusion. So the question here is, did Bill Belichick create the defensive template to beat the Eagles' offense in Game 1? That's a valid question to ask, man, because we have struggled against soft zones. It's not even that they're blitzing from the zone, leaving a hole. It's that they're not leaving holes, and they're rotating the coverage, switching off, moving up, moving back, moving sideways, moving forward. And that has been creating, Jalen, because they've been replacing guys. So you got to find work, it's like a moving pylon, moving back and forth, like a basketball game. When, they're getting the timing down. And where's that platform going to be when you're trying to avoid it? Where's the basket going to be when it's shifting, to hit that? And then you got some floppy hands coming in there. So it's very convoluted for Jalen. But also the timing, things that we didn't get to get down in the preseason, we're now suffering for that. We're now getting that time in, that chemistry, and so that's exacerbating the problem. But they're definitely throwing looks that most teams didn't throw them last year. So yeah, it can be confusing, but I think it's yeah, until we beat it, teams are going to employ it to some degree. And we're coming up in Tampa. Todd Bowles, he employs it in Tampa too, but he might disguise it. So, us knowing what their goal is based, that might help us out a lot. But we'll see how much this week and a half of prep will be able to help the offense and help in recognizing and having awareness where to go with the ball. And just scheming up for the offensive coordinator side, scheming up plays for your players to break free of those shackles of the defense, find the weaknesses, find the vulnerabilities, find the bending and breaking points of the defense, and hit right on square on the dot where it makes them shatter. So that play where Devonta Smith caught a touchdown was breaking point for the defense. So we really got to get on it and decipher that code. Anyways, we're gonna get up out of here. I know that you're not even watching though, but like I said, like I always say, I love talking about the Eagles, love reporting on them, love discussing them, all day, any day. But anyways, we're gonna get up out of here, like I said. So as always, it's fly Eagles fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.